All right, fellas, if you've ever been confused in your relationship, you're in good company. Many times we think we're communicating well. We think something's going well in the relationship only to find out that what we thought we were communicating really wasn't understood or received on the other end. And why that is because women are asking one key question consistently in the relationship, and I'm going to tell you what that question is and give you 4 ways to address it in a way that will help your relationship. That's what we're going to talk about today. Before we jump in, if you've not already done so, go ahead and download the free guide to intimacy. You'll see a link in the description area below. This will help you evaluate 4 areas of intimacy in your relationship and give you some practical ideas on what you can do to begin improving your closeness and connection. And if you've not already done so, why haven't you ordered the book yet? Yes, RelationShots, the book, all the greatness of the YouTube videos in a book with questions for couples and QR codes back to the video if you want to hear about it again. Pick that up on Amazon today. You won't be disappointed. And if you don't complain to me when your relationship isn't going well. So, back to the video. What we want to do in this video is answer the one question that women tend to be asking in a relationship, and some specific times when we really got to reassure and answer that question. See, the problem is for a lot of women, they are consistently asking this question under the surface. Unknowingly, men may be exasperating the answer to this question and not answering it right, which is why we have so many communication problems in a relationship, because men and women are wired different. Men tend to not understand this is going on, and women can't really turn this off. So when it comes to relationship, it's not often communication. It's not really understanding the context in which you're trying to communicate that creates the problem in the relationship. So men, most women consistently are operating with relational insecurity when it comes to the relationship, and they're asking this one key question all the time, whether they're saying it out loud or not. And that question is, does he really love me? Is he really in this? Many of them have an insecurity and they're wondering about the status of the relationship. Couple that with, at the same time, most men are operating from, hey man, I told you I loved you at the wedding day. I'll let you know if that changes, right? You can see the problem here. Women operating from a relational insecurity and men completely oblivious to the fact that, hey, I told you it once, I'll let you know if it changes again, instead of doing what they need to be doing, which is reassuring their wives, we're good, I'm okay, we're in this together, nothing's wrong. So for most women, that's why when men are struggling or they're quiet, one of the questions they're asking is not just, I wonder what's wrong with him, but what is wrong with the relationship? And many times it has nothing to do with the relationship and a bunch of stuff outside that men don't want to burden their wives with, so they're just not talking about it. But if you understand that your wife is secretly asking this question under the surface, you might be a little more aware and can reassure them in the moments when it matters most. So I want to give you 4 key moments when it is imperative, men, that you reassure your wives that you are there, that you do love them, that you're not going anywhere, because they're asking this question already. And in these moments, the answer to that question is being heightened in their mind, causing more turmoil. So the first area you want to reassure them is during conflict. And yes, you can already see the problem. Most men, when they get to a place of conflict, in the midst of conflict, most men's tendency is, I need to pull away, get alone, get some space to process this. But if your wife is already asking the question, does he really love me? And in the midst of conflict, rather than closeness, rather than reassurance, their husbands are pulling away and withdrawing. All it's doing is exasperating the insecurity and fear. Instead, what the wives want is they want their husbands to step towards them and reassure them in the midst of conflict. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't get some space if you need some space, because if you're emotionally flooded, it's not going to go well. But what you can say is, hey, I'm angry right now. I need some space to process it, but we're okay. So you reassure them as you let them know how you're feeling and what you need. So men, what that means is you can let them know how you feel. You can still get your space, but reassure them that you love them, that you're there for them. So basically let them know we're good, and then you can go stomp out the door and slam it. But make sure the last part of this is, if you're going to go get that space, you also have to initiate re-engaging the conversation to solve the issue. You can't just get mad, get space, and never deal with it again. So reassure your wife, number one, in the midst of conflict. The second area or time when you need reassurance is when she's upset. I know you're like, that seems a little counterintuitive. If she's upset, I don't want to poke the bear, right? I don't want to go hug the porcupine. I don't want to mess up the bee's nest. If she's already angry, I just want to get my distance. But most wives, when surveyed, preferred that their husband would come and give them a hug or draw close to them because that would help ease them being upset rather than the opposite. Now, again, this is tough because you don't want to step towards somebody who is clearly already angry. You're like, let me just give them space and come back when things are cooler. But for most wives, again, because the underlying question being asked is, do they love me? Are they here for me? When they are angry, it is best if you step towards them, close the gap, create connection. So rather than space, you want to give your wife a hug when she's upset. The third area that you want to reassure her is when she wants to talk about the relationship. I know you're like, because her talking about the relationship means that she's criticizing me, she's telling me what I did wrong, how I failed, how I don't measure up, and I really don't feel like hearing all that stuff. But for most wives, when they want to talk about the relationship, remember, we're operating from an underlying current of, does he love me? Does he want to be in this relationship? So when they want to talk, they're generally not talking because they want to criticize, although it may come across that way. They're generally talking because they want to share their feelings and share their experiences with you. So man, if we can get to a place where we can reframe, listen, this is not a personal attack, and rather than receiving it as a personal attack, even if it feels criticizing, can I go into it with the mentality this is a joint problem-solving discussion? They're expressing their feelings and experience in the relationship. We are joining them, validating and understanding that experience, and hopefully together coming up with a solution for it. So the key is to kind of take yourself out of it, try to depersonalize it a little bit so you don't get defensive, attack back, defend yourself, all that kind of stuff. But when they want to talk about the relationship, that is the time when they need your assurance most. And so don't pull away from them, don't withdraw, don't defend, don't attack. Join them in this. This is a joint effort to help resolve the issues that are present in the relationship. Reassure them you're here for it. You want to see the improvements as much as they do because you desire the same relationship that they want. And the fourth time when your wives need your reassurance might be the most difficult, but it is when she's being difficult. I know you're like, ooh, she's being difficult. I ain't trying to reassure her. I understand that. But even when she's having moments where she's being most difficult, the goal again is to remember there may be an underlying fear about the relationship. And so many times we all do this, that when we're struggling most, we tend to push people away, hoping that they'll draw back towards us to reassure us that they care about us and love us. So when we're pushing people away, we really don't want them away. We really want them closer, but we're thinking if we push them away and they fight through that towards us, that is just a reassurance that they're here for the relationship, even when we're being difficult. So men, what you want to do is push through that. Push through the difficulty, push through the criticism, push through the pushing away, and try to draw near to them to reassure them. Now, if they don't receive that, and they really do want space, that's fine, but at least they know that when they tried to push the first time you came towards them, that's reassurance. So even if they don't want your presence right now, even if they really do want distance, they'll get it knowing that you were moving towards them even when they were being difficult. This is love, folks. This is commitment, folks. This is not always fun, but here are the moments for men when your wives are consistently asking the question, does he really love me? These are 4 moments when you can reassure them, answering that question and making them know you are here, you are not going anywhere, you love them, and you're going to fight for this relationship and stay in this relationship no matter what is going on in the moment, because we're playing the long game. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And so we can reassure them everything's okay and the relationship is going to be great. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Women, drop a comment. Does this resonate with you? Are these the moments you do want reassurance, or do you want space in this moment? And men, have you recognized this, and do you step into this, and what's the results? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Drop a comment below. And as always, if we can help you in any area of your relationship, Maybe it's our membership community. Maybe it's a video resource, a book, a conference, maybe one of our retreats. We'd love to be a part of your relationship journey. Let us know how we can help you and serve you. And until next time, we'll see you right back here on RelationShots.